Yeah, it's a good time of the week for a Friday.
Hey, have you been very cold down there?
No, no, it's in the 50s.
Oh gosh. Well, we're at least in the double digits over here now. It's like 25 or so.
All right. Did you get any of the nasty weather, the precipitation that Portland got?
Well, I don't know what Portland had an ice storm, right?
Portland had an
And
ice storm. Yeah.
and I saw 84 was closed. And yes, we had freezing rain yesterday and last night. And so it is slick out there. And I was using my snowblower and got all the stuff cleared away. But we're warming up and we're probably going to get a wintry mix tomorrow
Mm,
night sometime. So yeah, we got some, but we're okay. Hey, we've got power.
that's
And
good.
I feel for the people that had no power. I know Kevin was hit and
Yeah. Kevin was hit and his generator didn't work.
oh, I know it. I know it.
And it
We
sounds
try to have contingencies, right? And sometimes those things fail too.
and it sounds to me like the state of Oregon, the people in Salem that we elect to, I'm not sure why we elect them, to be perfectly honest with you, but the elected people that we unfortunately grant the opportunity to make laws, they want to ban generators. Is that what I heard?
Well, actually, yeah, this is a story out of Oregon Catalyst that came out today that they actually tried to ban gas generators in 2022. And so the lawmakers did. They authored a bill to ban gas generators, leaf blowers, and lawnmowers. Well, it never got out of committee, thank goodness. All of us use those things, right? And
Yeah.
but it's looking like it's going to be some part of that will come back in the 2024 session. So just be aware of that. I mean, it was Senate Bill 525 and it died in committee and was never sent to the Senate or the House floor for a vote. But at this time, it says it's unclear whether sponsors of the bill plan to bring a version back in 2024. But we need to be paying attention to that, because they do expect this issue to continue to be a topic of conversation because it's following California. In 2021, California banned the sale of new gas powered leaf blowers and lawnmowers starting this year in 2024 and portable generators in 2028. That's right. Your dog said it right. I mean,
Yeah.
we would all be groaning.
Yeah. Yeah. Buddy sees a stuffed bear on top of the dresser here, and he believes they all belong to him. That so he's talking to it. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. I saw a photograph today. I don't know the veracity of the photograph, but it was a section in the a couple of doors in the egg section of the refrigerated cabinets, and there was a thing there that said that Senate bill or House bill, whatever, passed last year that outlawed eggs being sold from caged chickens.
Yes.
And the shelves were empty because all of the large egg farms have chickens in cages.
And the price of eggs has gone up.
Again,
Somebody mentioned it to me in the grocery store. They said, "Have you seen the price of eggs? It's doubled." And right now there isn't any eggs only because there hasn't been our town here in Eastern Oregon. We've not received mail for 3 days because of the weather. 84
God,
being
that's a really important thing. One of my Facebook friends pointed that out. I said, he lives in Grants Pass. He said, if you want to know how quickly things fall apart, just go down to Winco right now and look at the shelves. And we've had no weather,
right,
to speak of.
right,
But all of that stuff comes down I-5 from Portland and wherever. And
yeah.
apparently the shelves are bare.
On Tuesday, I went to the grocery store and the produce section. We have anyway, it's at Safeway, and at the produce section was empty. I saw a thing of lettuce, of romaine lettuce. I grabbed that. That was the last one. And
Wow.
and I was able to get a few things. We didn't need much. Mostly I go buy a lot of vegetables. And the organic section was absolutely wiped out. And the one of the managers was checking the patrons out. And I said, "So hey, when are you going to get some more produce in?" He says, "It's sitting over in Portland and we can't get a driver." Well, also I realized that I-84 was closed later on. And I saw in our town on a local Facebook page that our post office had said haven't had any mail trucks for 3 days. So everything that's coming, 84 was opened up one lane and the shoulder. That's it. And I
Right.
hear the groan. That's it. That's exactly on cue, man.
Good job, buddy. You want to come up here and be
So
on
it's
camera?
all the stuff, it's all of the supplies coming here. And yes, take warning.
Yeah. So if we had some sort of major event like a solar flare that hit Earth with they'd create their own EMP, or an EMP attack that, covered this area, or a major earthquake, or, all of the volcanoes and the Cascades erupt at the same time.
Yeah.
The stores would be, it sounds to me like the stores would be empty within 5, 7, 10 days tops.
And the banks apparently, went to the bank and the ATM was empty. I mean,
Oh, yeah, no money either. Wow.
it's everything that is trucked.
Yeah,
Everything that is
yeah.
trucked.
So
I,
there's a
I will
lesson in there.
say,
Don't put your cash in the bank, which always, I hate doing that anyhow. But
yes, something else to think about is along these lines. My brother was here. He lives in Costa Rica, and we were able to get him flown in and flown out of here. Interestingly, so we have a little airport in Portland, in Pendleton, and it flies to Portland. Okay, boutique air, 3 flights a day. When he flew out of here, that he flew out no problem. The next day, um, Seattle was closed. SeaTac was closed, but yet this little flight was still going back and forth, and Portland was open. It's there are other airports to go to as well, and other routes that you think, I kind of thought, well, I wonder how Portland Airport's doing. And I was surprised to see that it's open and SeaTac was shut,
huh?
canceled hundreds of flights. And
Wow.
it's a much larger airport. So they were having some serious issues. And there's not a lot you can do with the whole freezing rain issue,
No, there's nothing you can do. You
Mm-mm.
can't drive on it. I don't.
No.
I still see people on the news think that they can drive on ice, and I don't get it.
Yeah, my mom had an appointment and I said, just call him. I said, because it's yesterday, and I said, it's just not worth it. It's
Yeah.
not worth it. We'll just reschedule and no problem here, and
Yeah, I
it's,
mean, if you have a really aggressive set of tire chains, off-road construction type tire chains and four-wheel drive, you can probably move on ice, but you can't move on ice on anything else. I learned that as a teenager.
yeah, yeah. You put chains on, you can, and whatnot. So, wow, College Place Walmart, nearly empty shelves. So this is the thing. This is why people need to be prepared. It's not just catastrophes, but weather-related events, to be stocked up as much as you can.
Yeah, well, the real issue is reliance on the supply chain. The real issue is not having any reserve. The real issue is hand to mouth or just in time delivery. From the grocery store.
Yeah.
And most of us, we store stuff up. We store up. I mean, we store up cash. Yeah, when I go to Costco, I buy 2 years worth of toilet paper and paper towels and all that stuff. But I think a lot of people are. I would imagine, given the empty shelves, that a lot of people are not storing up food like they probably should.
Yeah.
Uh,
And you can have dried food, dehydrated food. There's other sources. It doesn't have to all be reliant on a refrigerator or a freezer to
yeah.
have a good supply. And that's a good thing. I
Yeah.
know I've talked with Karen about that,
Yeah.
and
Especially if they Salem succeeds in outlawing generators to keep your freezers cold.
oh my gosh, I'll tell you, I,
I mean, not that I would comply. I mean, I would in no way, shape, or form comply if they outlawed lawnmowers, generators, and weed blowers. I would probably use them every day.
but the thing is it's not necessarily outlawing. They're stopping you from buying them. We have
Right,
ours. We
right,
have ours.
right.
You got to keep it running. Golly,
Hey, right. There's a as this type of tyrannical overreach by government continues, and it continues at a horrendous pace in Oregon,
Yeah.
that there's going to be a viable, profitable black market where
I-
people will ship in lawnmowers, leaf blowers, generators, eggs from caged chickens into Oregon and sell them.
well, and there is more farming, more buy local from the person who's getting local eggs, that's
Well, yeah,
growing
I
the
mean, they
eggs
make
in your
that hard.
neighborhood.
Yeah, they make that hard. There's regulations against that.
Yeah. Yeah, there
You know,
is.
you can't just open up a stand and sell stuff without the state breathing, up your butt with a microscope.
That's
You
a
know,
fact. That's a
uh,
fact. While we're talking about reliance, here's a story on Oregon's reliance on fossil fuels is growing, not shrinking. And this is, I'll tell you, that's actually a good thing. But they need to make it where we need more natural gas plants. So this is during the holidays, Oregon Department of Energy quietly updated a chart it maintained showing where Oregon's electricity comes from. And this is from Oregon Catalyst and the Cascade Policy Institute. The chart shows that from 2012 to 2021, Oregon's dependence on fossil fuels increased from 44.7 to 46.3 of annual electricity consumed. And
oh my gosh,
right,
it's
it's just
Oregon
up,
is killing the earth.
it's up a little bit. And Oregon in 2016, they banned coal and natural gas in 2021. The Oregon legislature did it and mandated the most new electricity come from large wind and solar farms. Right over here where we are, we're talking about the weather and whatnot. I had to drive to Pendleton and there's some wind turbines that I can see. There's two turbines turning, and I told my brother, I said, the two turbines that you see turning are consuming electricity because there's no wind blowing and the rest of them are not turning at all. Then we get to Pendleton and there's a solar array that they've put in Pendleton and they're covered in snow. It's not working. Covered in snow and ice. And this is what they want us to have is unreliable energy. And I'll tell you, people, we have to get mad about this and say, no more, none of this.
Yeah, it's hard to do in Oregon because the commie party has a majority and they can pass usually whatever they want. And I'm not sure how you overcome that. Don't vote for them, but I don't think anybody we talk to votes for them anyhow.
No, well, one of my own representative, he works to make sure that we get more green energy sources like this, so-called green, intermittent energy resources in my neck of the woods. And
That'd be Smith.
it would be, yeah,
Yeah.
Greg Smith. You know, he's on the board of the one of the energy companies. I'm trying to think. It's a co-op. Can't think of the name. It's escaping me right now. And so he does. He's written legislation to help so that they can build more solar arrays here in Umatilla County. He's, you know, by changing how land is classified, high value farmland has to be irrigated in order to be considered high value farmland. And yet I live in an area that we are growing lots of bushels of wheat that is non-irrigated. But, you know, going back to the energy story, the wind generation has gone up from 5% to 9% in the past decade. And natural gas generation has increased from 12 to 24%. And yet, you know, right now they're taking out the Klamath dams. And my heart goes out to
I
Klamath.
think they're actually out.
Yeah, they're out. They're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was reading a story about that. And
All
it's
that.
awful.
Oh, it is awful. All the generation capacity is gone, and then the water reserve for irrigation is gone. So, I mean,
Flood control is gone.
flood control is gone.
Yeah.
People's lakefront property is now gone.
Yep. And so in this article, it says hydropower is a good balancing mechanism for intermittent sources, but the era of big dam building is over. And the hydropower capacity is shrinking. Well, let's see, because they're taking out dams, you know, for salmon, and it's a damn shame. And the PGE rates have gone up 18% this month, in part due to the phase out of fossil fuels. But
Yep.
the ban will never work because the grid needs reliable power.
Yeah, there's a lot of hoopla lately about PGE raising their rates and their CEO making $6.3 million a year, and you
Right.
know, greedy corporate bastards they were being called. But it's all government. Government causes this.
Well, I'll tell you, it is government. And so to take this a little further, a government agency, Bureau of Land Management, has got updating their plan and their energy. It's an updated roadmap, they're calling it, to help meet the goals of net zero electric grid by 2035. And so the Bureau of Land Management analysis aims to optimize solar energy development throughout the West. I'm going to post this article here because there is a public comment period that is going to be through April. And this would be good to share around everybody and read into this, because it says that their updated roadmap, they're looking like 700,000 acres in Oregon could open up to a Bureau of Land Management managed properties, could come into use for solar panels. 700,000 acres, but they're looking at doing, and this isn't just in Oregon, this is in all across the United States. So
It's mostly the Western United States, because that's where all the BLM land and federal land is located.
yes,
It was never disposed of the way it was supposed to be disposed of, and actually, the Constitution says that there's 10. You can have 10 square miles. That's in D.C., and then other needful buildings. Well, the hundreds of millions of acres that the feds have failed to dispose of, and by dispose I mean put into private ownership, is not needful buildings. But this one really chaps my ass because as a small scale miner, you can't get a small scale mining operation approved by the BLM.
Mm-hmm.
People have died waiting for that approval because they
Yeah.
just don't have it. And now they're going to fast track hundreds of huge solar installations.
Yes, they're also cutting grazing lots. You know,
Yeah.
they're doing things that are not helping the people. This is a political agenda.
Oh,
This is
absolutely.
frankly a world agenda. This is going along with the World Economic Forum. This type of crap.
Where do all the minerals come from to make those solar panels? They don't come from a mine in Oregon
No,
or the United
no,
States.
no, they don't. And so what is happening is their preferred, what it's saying is that they need, let's see, in considering updates for the Western Solar Plan, the BLM worked closely with the Department of Energy's National Renewable Energy Laboratory to examine forecasts for national clean energy needs and determined that approximately 700,000 acres of public lands would be needed to meet the goals.
Wow.
The BLM's preferred alternative in the updated Western Solar Plan would provide approximately 22 million acres of land open for solar application, giving maximum flexibility to reach the nation's clean energy goals. And, I just don't think we need to reach these goals. I think they're unattainable and they are illogical. You have to have
Well, you
reliable
said it.
energy.
Yeah, you said it. They're unreliable.
They are unreliable. And so they're still pressing the continued progress on onshore renewable energy development. So they've released a draft environmental impact statement for different projects and whatnot. They're looking for in all the western states. Oregon is definitely affected. There's a article I will not pay the money to go into this article, but the headline of the article says Biden administration eyes Oregon for big solar. And then it says that Bureau of Land Management. I almost did it. When I say BLM, I think of Black Lives Matter, but Bureau of Land Management plan would open up 700,000 acres in Oregon to solar application with development reasonably foreseeable on 51,000 acres.
Hmm.
So, if they want to waste the money of the people and enrich other nations, and we are forced to have this, they need to put this on scab land. But that's not what they want. Here in Oregon, it's very you fly over and you go, wow, look at all this open land. And it's because of the land use laws in this state that we have all this open land.
Mm-hmm.
And there are, right here where I'm at in northeast Umatilla County, we have very rich farmland. And that is, we grow, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of wheat without it being irrigated. And these farmers are getting bombarded with a mailer all the time for leases to please lease us your land for solar, that they will make twice or three times what they're making growing a crop.
Right. And why wouldn't you do that?
And thankfully, a lot of the farmers around here are multi-generational, and they're going, we're just the temporary stewards. And they're not doing it. But there are some that are. But this is Bureau of Land Management. This is BLM land we're talking about now.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So in this article, it says that let me find it very quickly if I can. That public input will inform a final programmatic environmental impact statement and record of decision. The public can submit written comments through April 18th, 2024, and it has a link to more details are available on BLM's solar program website. Please, please, please submit some comments on this. And be concise about it. Do some research on this. And that's why I posted that link in here, because we need reliable energy. And Oregon, in this 2024 session, it would be wonderful if the legislators reauthorize natural gas generating facilities to be built here to have reliable energy. We have plenty of it here and have reliable energy.
Natural gas is clean and reliable.
And you can ramp it up and ramp it down really easy without having repercussions.
Yeah, you can't ramp up your solar panels after dark. They just don't ramp up.
No, and when they're covered with snow, they don't do a thing. I know somebody who has a solar array at their ranch, and when it snows, they got to go brush it off in the morning, to have power. It's good at a point of use. Frankly, that's a good thing, but to try to put that into transmission lines is entirely another. It's better that it's on a rooftop. And
the operators don't care because they're not doing it to generate electricity. These solar farms, they have nothing to do with generating electricity. They have everything to do with subsidies and tax credits.
Absolutely. 100%.
They don't give a shit how much energy comes out of those solar panels, which is why they don't clean them. They don't go brush the snow off, and they really don't care. And as soon as the subsidies and tax credits make it feasible that it pencils, they'll replace them. And if the tax credits and the subsidies ever go away, they'll walk away from them.
Yeah. Yeah. Sad but true. Sad but true.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a good news story. Texas is beginning to arrest and charging the illegal immigrants at Eagle Pass. And as the border feud with the Biden administration intensifies, and I'll tell you, I don't know if in our lifetime I have seen that the federal government is absolutely destroying our border policy.
Yeah. Well, the policy is no border. A border, it's a bino. It's a border in name only. And that's, that's clear. I think everybody's getting that message. But, nobody in Congress is willing to do anything about it.
Right? Yeah. And that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. So
yeah,
kudos
it does.
Texas.
Both of our supposed conservative representatives in Oregon voted to not use the continuing resolution as a bartering chip for closing the border. So they don't care, obviously.
No. And there's no reason. Frankly, I just say shut it down. Shut it down and shut that border down. Because I don't care about the rest of it. We've got to stop this foreign invasion into our country. We don't know who the hell's coming across the border.
No, we don't. No. And if it was the Chinese army down there, we'd have all of our military assets down there, and people wouldn't be crossing the border very often.
Yeah. So kudos to Texas Governor Greg Abbott. The new state law that allows the police to arrest and charge people suspected of entering the country and their state illegally. You know what? If the federal government's not doing it, I'm glad Texas is doing it. And, there's talk that Well, he's not the most conservative guy, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? He's trying to do something to stop the influx of the illegals into his state. And he is also shipping these people to the sanctuary cities, and they're now crying uncle. And more Democrats are unhappy with this invasion. More and more. And until that something else changes, I don't know. It's awful. Pisses
It
me
is.
off.
Well, it is awful. It's a violation of Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution. Federal government shall protect the states from invasion. Just
Yeah.
that. I mean,
Yeah.
if you can't impeach a president for violating the Constitution, an oath that he swore to uphold the Constitution, then what can you impeach somebody for?
I agree. So, hey, everybody, we needed to keep it a little short tonight. And so share the message. Have a great weekend. And looks like things are going to warm up around here and we won't have ice too much longer. And we
Good.
will be back next week.
Good.
Good
Everybody
night.
have a nice